was born in the cold.
Born in it. Molded by it.
I didn't see warmth until I was already a man. Dude, I think we start with that.
Okay.
I think we start with it. If you guys didn't catch that Bane reference from The Dark Knight Rises, I'm sorry. Because that was a good reference, let me tell you. Talking about cold plunges, how has your week been? You're a week into cold plunges.
I'm a week into cold plunges. So I listened to Atomic Habits.
Yes.
And I had to attach it to a thing I was already doing. So every morning I wake up between 4 and 5 a.m.
Okay.
Depending on like how I sleep.
Yeah.
And then first thing I do is I take the dogs out to go potty, and then I put Alana and Call inside of the gym for a second, and that way I can get them all wrangled up so I can put on their harnesses so we can go on a bike ride.
Nice.
So after I put Alana into that, I've attached the habit that I walk outside into my mini garage, my third garage.
Yeah.
And that's where I have my cold plunge set up inside there. I strip down to my skivvies and I get inside that cold plunge. I ask Alexa to set a timer for 3 minutes. I'm so glad that she didn't go off when I said that.
They're listening.
Is she listening?
They're listening.
So I asked Alexa to set a timer for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And I just sit there for 3 minutes. And I'll tell you, man, every morning that I wake up, like there's that, I call it my inner bitch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
My sissy self.
Yeah, that's sissy self.
My sissy self, who's like, you don't want to do this. This is not a good idea. Just stay in bed. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
But I know, like, you have to defeat that demon every morning in order to start to show yourself that you are a person that can go through that. So every morning, as I'll go inside there, I get inside the tub for 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, I get out. I do 100 air squats and 100 push-ups in sets of 25 to warm my body back up. Then I put on my clothes again, so I'm like in my garage naked, just like doing squats. And
I pray to God one of these days someone just like accidentally like opens up your garage. And you're just like, oh Jesus, Jesus!
It's so cold.
It's so cold.
It's because of the water.
It's because of the water. It's like, oh, that's really fun.
Yeah. So then I'll put my clothes on, then I go back inside, grab the dogs, and we go on our morning bike rides. And
I love it.
And that's been my morning, but it's been really good.
You've been enjoying it.
After I get out, I feel great. When I'm getting in, like once you're in it, it's suffering, but it's not as bad. It's like putting the first leg in and the second leg in, and like it's the kneeling down.
Yeah.
It's like once you get past your thigh into like the groin area and your tummy.
Yeah. It only gets worse from like the groin up. It gets worse.
It's so bad.
So like the back, like right here.
Man.
I'm like,
it's so terrible. Like, oh, it's touching me.
Dude, I'm getting flashbacks right now.
Yeah, but it's been really good. Yeah, so my wife, she's like, why do you do this to yourself? Like, why do you want to suffer so much?
For you.
I do it for you because you make me, you know.
You're my queen.
Yeah, you are my queen.
You're my queen. I must do this. This is what kings do. Oh, that's awesome. I'm curious. I got to ask this question. I'm really curious about this. When you wake up in the morning now, knowing you have to do the cold plunge, are you happier before you knew you had to do cold plunge? Like before cold plunges like was even like introduced to you? Do you think you woke up happier before or happier now? Because to me, I feel like I would wake up just pissed.
No, yeah, there is like a moment of like dread of like, oh man, I have to do this. Yeah. But I reframe that. Good. So with all things in life, it's not I have to do this. I get to do this.
Good.
You know, it's same with like finance when you kind of bring it into like, I have to learn about this stuff. No, I get to learn about this stuff. Yeah. I have to save money. No, I get to save money. Mm-hmm. It's just that little mental reframe. So yeah, I look at it that as like, I am so lucky that I live in this amazing house and I have a cold plunge in my house where people would normally drive to go do it. And I get to do this and I choose to do it for myself because I know the benefit and how I'm going to feel. You know, it was Matt Frazier. He was the 3-time winner of the CrossFit Games. Like beast of a human being.
Not the one on Seinfeld.
I don't know who that is.
Never mind though. Here we go.
Yeah, Matt Frazier, he was a CrossFit Games athlete. And he stole this quote from somebody else, but I'm going to credit to him because I heard it from him.
Yeah, gotcha.
It was, do today what others won't, so that tomorrow you can do what others can't.
Love it. Dude, that's a good quote.
So
that's a tomb level quote.
Yep. So I try to remember that every day. Like, do today what no other people aren't going to do, so that tomorrow, if I'm ever in a situation where it's like, or I'm in that jack moment and I'm hanging on to the door, I'll be like, it's okay. I do this every day.
Yeah.
I got at least 3 minutes. I know that for sure.
3 minutes.
For sure, I got 3 minutes.
I love it.
After that, I don't really know, but I got 3 minutes for sure. And then that also goes into another quote that I really love, and it's remember tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah, so just think about how you're going to feel tomorrow and like how much future Chris is going to be happy that past Chris made these choices. And same with finance. Like all the things that I did, and there were just simple little habits of like saving more money, make more or spend less money than you make, and then invest the difference. Past Chris did all that good work, and now I get to reap off of it.
Yeah, and your family.
And my family.
Most importantly,
yeah.
Most importantly.
So guys, welcome to Phi Friday Feedback. Today we're going to be re-exploring the world of education and lifelong learning. So please join us in our insights on making informed decisions about education and embracing continuous learning.
I love it. I think last podcast was a really important one because if there's any skill, or if there's anything you actually take away from this podcast, every single episode, every video, every short, whatever, take away the idea that it's important to continue to learn and advance your mind and your mindset.
Yep.
It's all about mindset.
It is. And that's what so much of it comes down to that. And so many people think like, if only I had that piece of secret information that the other people have, then I'd be able to be happy. And that's not really there. Like it's all work. It's putting in the work. It's building up that compounding interest over time that really gets you the win. There is no secret that anyone has. It's really just putting in the time and the dedication to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, so many little steps it's like a puzzle, it's like, I have my puzzle complete and Chris can't find his pieces, but it's like, I need that one piece. It's like, no, Chris, it's like, there's hundreds of pieces in this puzzle before you can see what the real image is. And you got to just continue to learn and continue to put yourself into the world to continue to grab every piece. It's a little bit of learning. It's a little bit of mindful spending. It's a little bit of debt snowball, a little bit of investing, a little bit of, compound interest, savings accounts, a little bit of everything. It's not as overwhelming as I made it sound.
No, it's actually quite easy. It really comes down to the simplicity of talking about Phi of spend less than you make and then invest the difference. Yes. And of course, each one of those subjects can be 10 podcasts long as to what you go into it.
Easily.
But if you break it down to its simplest parts, it's just those things.
Exactly.
It becomes a lot easier for people to be like, oh, okay, I get it. I can do that.
Spend less than you make. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Fire is hot. Spend less than you make. Water is wet. Cool. Simple as that. It's as easy as that.
It really is. But you have to be able to embrace that lifelong learning and learn to love that process of not knowing and being a student again and being willing to reteach yourself. Because once you start to see the improvement, before I became a financial advisor, I was a swim instructor for a long time when I used to be a lifeguard. And it was so amazing to me to be able to watch these kids who seconds before me teaching them, if they happened to fall into a pool, would have died. And then after one class, they at least have enough survival skills to be able to not die. And then it's the exact same thing for finance and for all things in life. But you have to be able to put yourself into that scary place of being willing to be taught and to learn.
Yeah, 100%. So getting on to segment 1, we're talking about learning. We talked about college expenses. That was our first thing.
And we talked about how 69 to 70% of recent high school graduates are currently enrolled in college, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And we talked about how historically it used to be you want to go to college so you can separate yourself from all the other candidates out there. Well, unfortunately, if 70% of the other candidates out there have a degree as well, you're really not separating yourself. You are amongst the average.
You're amongst the average.
In fact, the people that didn't go to college are not average, which might set them apart.
Yeah, exactly.
They might be able to talk about some experiences they had that you didn't have because you went to college that set them apart from everybody else.
People love different. And if you're that different, that person that I didn't go the traditional path, but I have other expertise. It's like, well, guess what? I could throw a stone in a crowd and hit 70% of the people who has a degree, But those other 30% that might have experience, it's like, oh, you bring something that the other 70% didn't have.
And that's huge, is the experience portion that you just said there. Like even Google and Amazon now, they don't really care that you have a degree. They just want to know, can you code?
Yeah.
Can show me your portfolio of what you've done?
Yeah.
That's really all that matters nowadays, is being able to prove.
Yeah.
And then we talked about tuition inflation, how scary it is. It's actually going up 8% on average per year, outpacing inflation by more than double.
Dude, that's wild. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And we also talked about how student loan, it hit a total of $1.7 trillion in 2022, with the average being almost $38,000 per person.
And that's only an undergrad.
Undergrad.
That's not even including graduate school, because when you go to graduate school, you go to your doctoral or your master's program, then it gets even more expensive.
PhDs and whatnot.
PhDs and all that stuff. So everyone's, you know,
You don't need a PhD in Phi.
nope. No, all you need is basically an elementary level school, but you know, there's always levels to this. So
There's always levels to it. Yeah. We also talked about college versus trades. Which one's better? Which one's worse? Neither of them are better or worse. They're just
it's a personal choice.
personal choice. It's a personal path. You know, they both have pluses. They both have minuses. Some are very expensive. Some are not as expensive. So
Yeah, and right now trade schools, people there's such high demand. Like
such high demand.
I recently watched a South Park recently, and it's really, really funny. But they were talking about how all the people who went on to go get their geology degrees or their psychology degrees or their accounting degrees, they're sitting outside of Home Depot looking for work. Or all of the laborers who know how to like fix houses and lay sheet metal and stuff like that, they're running around bawling, and they actually become the millionaires who are they're trying to like one up each other and like fly to space sooner.
Yeah.
Because they all have so much money and they can actually do things that no one else can do. Like
That's really funny.
attach a door to your oven.
That's really funny.
Yeah,
Handymans, just any kind of trade work, is not going to be destroyed by ChatGPT.
Nope. No, it's not. But yeah, accounting, being a lawyer, that kind of stuff could get destroyed to ChatGPT. But I cannot tell ChatGPT right now, change my oil for me. I can ask them, how do I change my oil? But I can't tell it, do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's good for acquiring knowledge. Just it's terrible at executing with that knowledge.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can never ask it to mow my lawn.
Damn, dude. I don't know. I've seen some of these lawnmowers that are like.
Have you seen the Roomba version of the
Yes,
lawnmower? Yeah, that's
so
pretty cool. They're pretty cool.
They're kind of cool. I don't know if I trust it though.
I trust my Roomba and my.
Do you like the Roomba?
I have a Roomba and I have.
Is it the one that has like the mop?
Yeah, it's the mop version.
That's so sick.
Yeah, so that's why my house looks all like it has like those nice like lines on the floor.
Damn, I'm gonna have to get that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Bivel. Oh, first time.
Bivel.
I forget what it is. Either way.
Bissell.
Bissell.
That's what
Thank
it is.
you.
Bissell. There we go. We're back. We're back.
And then we talked about if you do go to trade school and make that decision, rather than going to college for 4 years and coming out on average $40,000 in the hole and delaying starting making money by 4 years at minimum.
Yeah, minimum.
You can go directly into trade school. Remember that when we talked about the compound interest and like that magic penny idea, being able to start 5 years sooner at investing and making money, when you reach retirement, that's going to be huge, just those extra 4 to 5 years.
Because of the compound interest, right?
Yeah, because of compound interest, and then also the money that you were making. You're probably, if you go directly into a trade school, you're making somewhere between, let's say, $40,000 to $70,000 starting, where people in college they're not making any money. In fact, they're spending money just to go to that school.
Yeah. So when they get out, they're actually in the hole.
And hoping to be able to find a job that can pay what these people who go into trade school are making automatically.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nothing. There's nowhere from trade school, because first you go into like a journeyman situation where you're being taught.
Yeah, it's like an apprentice.
And then eventually you start to learn. And it depends. Every trade school is a little bit different.
Every trade school is different. A trade school, I'm sure, can get expensive too, but not nearly as much as. It's not nearly as much as college.
Yeah, not nearly as much. And then remember, there's other types of trade school too. You can go to like be an electrician or a plumber, where you're basically working along somebody, and that's your training.
Yeah, guys. If you guys like to, flip the lights on in your house, these people are needed.
Yeah.
Badly. I'm not going back to candles. I refuse. Not gonna happen.
I'm just so lucky that my dad, he was in Marine Corps, and he worked a lot in engineering. So he's very good at electricity and like doing all that kind of stuff for the house, cars. So my dad taught me so much stuff. So I just feel so blessed to have all that knowledge in my head to be able to, like, when something goes on, my wife's like, hey, the light isn't working. I know how to actually take out the unit, get inside there and fix it. And it's not that complicated. It's not that complicated. But if I didn't know how to do that, and so my wife said, hey, the light is broken, I'd be like,
I don't know.
It's as simple as this, dear. You pull out your phone, you go, hey, Siri, call the electrician.
Yeah. It's fun to know things. You know what's really fun? This is like one of my favorite things about knowledge is like, it's fun to know things when people you love need to know things and they have questions and you're just like,
You're like, I'm that guy.
I'm that guy. I'm that guy. I know this.
I was with my family this past weekend and they were talking about like finance stuff and I wasn't even listening. I was doing something else and they were like, yeah, just ask Chris. Like,
I love it.
He's the guy. Just,
I love it.
Just tell.
I love it.
Whatever the problem is, just make Chris fix it.
Yeah, I love it. Like my mom was asking me about like the OpenAI situation and like ChatGPT and she's like, how does it work? And I was just like, well, it's a language-based AI model, and I was like dropping like gems on her, and it's just like it was so cool to just like know things.
It's an LML.
Yeah, it's deep. It's deep.
It's a large language model. It basically just crawls the internet and finds words that statistically follows one another.
Pretty much.
It's basically what I do when someone asks me about Bitcoin, and I'm like, let me try to explain this to someone as if they're a fourth grader.
Exactly. Yeah. We also talked about
maximizing college ROI.
Bingo. I like that.
Yeah, so we talked about strategies like AP courses in order to make sure that you're going in there. We talked about maybe doing like some testing, dual registration classes, and the community college. We also spoke about the thing that really shows how much college is going to cost is how long you're in college and then the school that you go to.
Bingo.
So it's really important that choosing the right degree path and the right school are going to be huge in setting yourself up for FI. And remember that while these higher level Yale's prestigious schools are great, they come at a high cost.
Yeah. And they come at a high cost because it's like you're paying for the name, you're paying for the status. It's an Ivy League school, it's harder to get in. Also the connections you could possibly make if you didn't just chill in your dorm room for 4 years and play Fortnite. But that's another discussion altogether. Maybe even another pod. I don't know.
And it's important though if maybe the Ivy League schools isn't for you, you can always consider an in-state school or do community college for 2 years and then finish off one of those Ivy League schools.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's gonna save you basically 50% right there just by being able to go to community college, which is substantially cheaper. And what I found when I was in community college is that people actually wanted to be there.
It's fair.
Where in college it was like I had to be there.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't notice that.
That's what I noticed because I noticed like when I was at 4-year, there weren't many older people in class. But when I was in community college, there were older people who were going back to learn because they wanted to learn and they were pursuing that lifelong knowledge.
I love that.
Now, I don't know if community college is the best way to do that. We can have that disagreement.
Yeah, but I mean,
but like, I do like that they were trying.
It's for like a person who is older, who isn't as well informed with like ChatGPT and stuff like that,
or YouTube,
podcasts. It's definitely a great way because I remember like you're gonna love this. This is so my mom. Shout out to you, Mom. Love you. This might make you laugh actually. When I was going to college, I was getting my music business degree. The funniest thing. This is the best thing. My mom had just retired like a year earlier, and she wanted to get into writing children's books. So she was taking classes at the same time I was taking classes. So my mom and I went to college together.
That's cool, dude.
Isn't that cool? Isn't that kind of funny? I love it. And she'd like tell me about her day. I'm like, what'd you learn today? She'd be like, oh, I learned about XYZ when writing children's books. I'm like, oh, this is what I learned today. It was really fun.
That's pretty cool. And one thing I do think, because I kind of just harped on like maybe college isn't the best way to learn, but there is one good thing about college is that for the most part, you know that the information has been vetted. Where if you're going on like YouTube or podcasts, sometimes you don't know, is this good information? Ideally, and you can have a disagreement, this information that is being presented to students has been vetted and is shown to be, the right information.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of community colleges. From a cost basis to like people, it's just I just enjoy it better.
Yeah, I enjoyed mine a lot more. And I just felt I had better connections when I was there. Obviously, 100%. Going to a 4-year was more fun, but it's not all about the fun. It's about learning and setting yourself up for life.
Yes, and not putting yourself in a hole before the race starts.
Yep.
We also talked about scholarships and earning while you learn. Scholarships, very, very, very important. I had a bunch of tuition aid, stuff like that, grants, all that fun stuff. Had most of my tuition paid for, probably like 85%. And you also had
I had the VA loan for 2 years from my dad, and then a lot of it was my hack of hacks was I created like one document or that was just to be sent out to basically all of the scholarship applications because they all asked pretty much for the same prompt.
Yep.
So I would just send that out and then just change the name on it every time. And then we also talked about like FAFSA and its role there and applying for student federal aid. And we didn't touch upon this on the last one, and we're just going to touch upon it briefly. Eventually, we will do a full plan or a full podcast on 529 plans. I have a gentleman who wants to open up 3 for his kids, and I think it might be good for him if I run that for it, and that way we can have a podcast on it. But sometimes an issue with 529s is that since you have money that someone has set aside for you for your college, now you're not eligible for as much federal student aid because someone wanted to care for you and actually set you up, which I find to be completely unfair. Like, if someone's save money for you, like it's not fair to be like, oh, you don't deserve as much money as this person who no one planned for. I get it, but it's like
it makes sense,
not
but
fair.
You want everybody should get the same amount of money.
Yep.
But at the same time, some families are better off than other families.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying.
But I've seen people who like they don't make a lot of money, but from the time the kid was young, they started putting as much money away as they possibly could.
Yeah.
And then that money over the 20 years before they went to college really ballooned up to be a lot. And now the family who is like still struggling to this day is being like getting the book thrown at them for trying to set their kids up. We can talk about it at a later time.
Yeah, no. But that's interesting.
It's kind of messed up. It could. I can understand why it might not be messed up depending on the situation.
Yeah, because the way I was seeing, I was like, oh, like a well-off family trying to get financial aid. I'm like, that would be kind of crooked. But the way you put it, it made sense.
Yeah, because I've seen it the other way.
You've seen it the other way where it's like just because a family doesn't make as much, but they were smart about their money and they prepared, they are still getting punished.
Yep.
Yeah, I get that.
And then we talked about earning while you learn. So looking for on-campus jobs would be a good one. We talked about, I had a friend who was an RA and worked inside the dorm. So she basically got free housing and she got paid. So she was able to pay her tuition on that. And then just look for other cost-cutting measures. We also talked about like maybe moving off campus and living with a bunch of roommates.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
House hacking.
I house hacked for a while.
I'm curious. When you house hacked, were you making a profit?
No.
Damn, I was going to say, like, how sweaty would it be to be, like, house hacking, making a profit from the house hack, and using that money for class and books? I'm like,
well, I guess, like, true house hacking would be that you own the property and then you're renting it out. I didn't have any money to be able to do that. So what I was able to do was the landlord liked me so much that he only talked to me. He didn't talk to anyone else. So after 1 year inside there, I basically asked the landlord, if I just pay you directly, can I be the person in charge? You only talk to me. I'll be in charge of the rooms and who's there. So I would bring people in to rent a room from me. They knew that there was a landlord above me, but they gave money to me. I paid the landlord from my checkbook, and then they paid me. And I told them what rent was. I didn't tell them what actual rent was. Yeah. So let's say rent was $2,000. It was more than that. Let's say it was $2,000 back then. I would charge each person in the house $750, and then no, that'd be mean. Like $600. Yeah. So there'd be 3 other guys paying $600. Then I only have to cover $200. Gotcha. That's what I did.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
It was good, and I that way because like when you house hack, you take on risk, right? Yeah. And that like they could destroy the house. The only risk I had was them not paying me quickly enough for me to be able to have the cash flow to pay him too. But I read into the contract. I had a friend that was a lawyer or trying to be a lawyer who wrote me a contract saying like if you don't pay me on this day, then there's like a 2% interest like every day on top of it. Okay. And I never had problems because I also interviewed people to make sure that it wouldn't be an issue.
Interesting. We also talked about lifelong education, the most important part of the podcast.
It definitely was. And that once you finish up traditional education, whether that be getting your high school diploma or getting your degree, that's just the start of learning. Yeah. Like now you have to actually start learning stuff that's going to be applied to your actual life and actually start to move you in a meaningful direction towards financial independence and more importantly, living a fulfilled life. Yeah. Because what you learned in school really sets you up to be
a worker,
good in society. Yeah. But not to set you up to be a great family person, a great fulfilled all
just around. A well-rounded person.
Yeah. And then we talked about well-rounded people, the aggregation of marginal gains in order to increase your value. And we talked about that talent stack, right? Yeah. It's not trying to go from 1 to 100 and being the best. It's 1% better every day. And looking for things that just interest you and just trying to learn about those interests because a lot of people think like, oh, I just need to be able to, I need to know about finance and I need to know about this, I need to know about that. But only me in my unique life do I have finance and philosophy and psychology, and I was a lifeguard for a long time, and I did all these other things. And it's those types of skills all compounded together that make me me. And you have those skills too. And every one of our listeners has those skills that are going to be completely different than anyone else does. So you need to be able to continue to grow those and start to look for how all of these skills are interconnected to make something unique only to you.
Definitely.
Because there at that point, you're no longer one of 70% of people who have a degree.
You're one of one.
You're one of one person. You have a degree and you're the only you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to make yourself irreplaceable.
Irreplaceable.
I love that.
And then we talked about some ways to continue to learn about
free courses and whatnot.
Yeah.
I liked your idea about going to the library. I feel like nobody goes to the library these days.
Yeah, they're great.
They're really awesome.
They're
They're
really
peaceful. But also we talked about how you can get free audiobooks, not just physical books to check out, but like audiobooks.
Yep.
Love that idea.
Yeah, you can even go on your phone and get them off of Libby or Hoopla. Libby, Libby, or Hoopla, Hoopla.
Okay.
You can download those, put in your library information, and get free stuff. Another cool thing about the library, so here at our public library in Phoenix, you can actually go there and they'll give you free tickets to events. So you can go to the library. I got free tickets last year to go to the World of Lights or the Phoenix Lights at the zoo.
No way, dude. Did you really?
Yeah, you can go down there and get free tickets to the botanical garden. Like they just give them out like candy.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, what the cheese.
Just for being a member, because no one takes advantage of them.
I have been wanting to go to Phoenix Lights, Zoo Lights, forever.
I actually proposed to my wife there at the Phoenix Lights a few years ago.
Damn.
But yeah, because they remember like the Phoenix Zoo, it's basically they get to write it off. So they give it to the library, and the library has a bunch of them. You just walk inside there. Do you have any free stuff? And yep, here you go.
What? That's crazy. And that's at the Phoenix Library?
That's the Peoria one over here.
At the Sunrise Mountain one?
Oh no, it's a different one off of. I'll tell you later.
Yeah, I'll tell you later. Yeah, I'm getting the hacks.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then there's also employee-sponsored tuition assistance. So maybe your employer will actually help to pay for you. That's how I was able to get some of my financial licenses. I had an employer that did that helped pay for it. And then there's so many different ways. There's podcasts like you're listening to right now, or if you're watching this on YouTube, it's on YouTube too. You have to be careful with these things because sometimes you don't get good information. So please vet accordingly. And I think the most important thing is take information and apply it to your life to make sure that we're correct. Like don't listen to anyone. We're not the doctrines of FI. Like I might be a professional financial advisor, but everyone gets things wrong. So you need to apply it to your life. I think it was Buddha who said like, take what you learn and apply it to your own life. Take what you learn from me, the Buddha, and apply it to your own life to see if it's true. And if someone as enlightened as that could say like, I might not be right, then everyone should have that. You shouldn't have your ego so high that you think that you're all high and mighty.
Yeah, if you think you're right all the time, there's probably something wrong with you.
I think you're probably wrong all the time.
You're probably wrong all the time. Good God.
And then I also talked about ClassCentral.com. That's the one where you can actually go and get free courses from Yale, Harvard, Tufts. You can actually watch things that people pay tens of thousands of dollars to sit inside of the class, and you can get that information for free online right now.
It's a lot of money.
Yep.
For something you can get for free.
And then most importantly, stay committed and explore learning in things that interest you, and you can try to find the interconnected knowledge of everything. That's what drives me, is trying to find these interconnections of things.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just constant improvement, day by day.
Day by day, 1% better every day. You don't need to try. And just every time you listen to this podcast, listen to any podcast, listen to an audiobook, you can listen to we have entertainment value. Obviously, we talk to each other and we're having fun here. But try to take one thing from every single podcast that you learn every day and try to apply it to your life, because knowledge without action is entertainment.
Yeah. Knowledge without action is entertainment. That's a good one. Knowledge without action is just entertainment. Wow. Damn, that's a good one. Did you come up? Is that yours?
I just said it right now.
Bro, trademarked. Monzon Wealth. Good Lord. Okay, we also are about to talk about the Friday feedback. Are we ready for that, or do you have any more points?
Nah, I'm excited. We're getting the viewer mailbag?
We're getting into the viewer
mailbag for Friday feedback.
You know what I just noticed? This is kind of funny. The podcast can't see this, but it's like cracked me up because I read the story beforehand, And when I'm looking at it, the first thing I saw was the unhappy smiley face.
Oh, yeah.
You see it? But it's really just like the brackets at
the
the end of the viewer mailbag with like a little semicolon. But yeah, viewer mailbag. We're talking about, what are we talking about today?
I don't know. You're the one that gets these.
They like to talk to me. I like this. Dear Fi Guys, specifically Dom. Just kidding. Okay, so Dave Ramsey says I can withdraw 8% a year with my investments and never run out. That's the headline of the letter.
Okay, I know what I know what this.
You know about this? You heard about this?
Yeah, it was very big in advisor circles. So.
The advisors they're getting their torches ready.
Yeah.
They're gonna mob on Ramsey headquarters. Dear Fi Guys, I hope you can help me because I'm getting conflicting messages and it's starting to discourage me and confuse me. I'm seeking clarification on a topic that you spoke about in an earlier podcast regarding the 4% rule. I've been exploring the concept of the 4% rule further since you talked about it, and it seems to make sense. Just for a little recap, what is the 4% rule?
The 4% rule is based off of the Trinity study that says that someone can withdraw 4% of their assets per year and have a near reasonable or a near 100% amount of never running out of money, given they had 25 times their annual expenses. Okay. So for quick math, say your annual expenses were $40,000. If you had $1 million invested in the market goes up on average between 7 and 9%. And we're also kind of like going to the lower end because the past 20 years has been up at 12%.
Yeah.
But we want to look at the whole time horizon, rather need it and not have it than have it and not need it. Or is that the right way? Have it and not need it.
Yes.
And need it and not have it.
You had it right.
I had it right.
Yeah, you had it right. We did that same thing off the podcast. We said that we were like, needed to have. Did we say that right? It's kind of like a tongue twister. It's like a brain.
But you kind of plan for the worst case scenario. That way you're never, because like, for people who are pursuing financial independence, like you're leaving work, like you're going to start living off this nest egg. You don't want to do it. You don't want to leave it up to chance too much.
No.
You know, I wouldn't leave my financial independence up to a coin flip.
Yeah.
Most people would.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so the Trinity study, it's 25 times your annual income. You can withdraw 4% per year and have a 95% chance of never running out of money.
Okay.
So $40,000, you had $1 million in assets. It should grow at roughly 7% per year. Inflation's at 4%. You can withdraw. Inflation's 3%. You can withdraw 4% and statistically never run out of money.
I like that. I recently saw a Dave Ramsey video where he said that.
Right here.
I didn't want to put that because we already talked about the Trinity study. I'll read it anyways. I've read various interpretations of the Trinity study, which you said is cited as a foundational piece in supporting the 4% rule for retirement and planning. However, I recently saw a Dave Ramsey video where he said that you can take out 8% a year and never run out of money. Is that true? In the video, Dave said that mutual funds return 12% on average and inflation is 4%. So you can take out 7 to 8% per year and be guaranteed to not run out of money. Is that math correct? Allow me to share a bit of my background. I'm 28, single, and over the past few years, I've been committed to learning more about taking control of money and paying off debts and basically just investing.
That's awesome.
Awesome. I am driven by a desire for a greater autonomy and flexibility in my life. Since finding your podcast, the concept of FI has become a guiding principle, influencing my financial decisions and shaping my long-term goals. That's awesome. I love that. Thank you for considering my inquiry for the show. Sincerely, this is my favorite part of the pod. Sincerely, a confused listener trying to control their financial tail, but now wondering if 4% is a steadfast trail.
Love it.
I love it. I love that so much.
Well, okay, so I'm very aware of this video. I kind of didn't want to bring a lot of attention to it, and the reason for that is I find it to be a bit dangerous, first off, to talk negatively about another advisor, which we're not going to do.
We're not going to do it.
But also, I didn't want other people to go and try to find this information and get misled down a wrong path.
Yeah, we don't got to call him Dave Ramsey.
Just call him John.
Have Hamsey.
Yeah, Have Hamsey.
Have Hamsey.
Have Hamsey said something.
Have Hamsey has said something.
Well, first off, to the listener, I want to congratulate you on taking control of your money.
That's big.
That is just amazing, and I'm so thankful to have such a driven and inquisitive person listening to our podcast. They mentioned that they're not only just listening to what we're saying, like I talked about before, but they're actually doing their own research.
And taking action.
Yeah,
That's the key.
When they looked at the Trinity study themselves to actually do some information, it's so important that you actually do your own research and look at the nuances of any of these financial quote unquote rules. Because you need to see how do these apply to my life. That's what makes personal finance personal. So please keep it up. You're only 28 years old. I wish I had my stuff together. Like this at 28 years old.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But I am really glad that you reached out on this, even though okay, let's talk a little bit about the Dave Ramsey video.
Yeah.
So first off, I want to say that I think Dave Ramsey has helped millions of people get out of debt. And I very much respect the business that he's built. But just remember that nobody's perfect all the time, including myself. So in the video, Dave Ramsey says that the Trinity study is made up by nerds in their mom's basements.
He loves to insult.
Yeah, I have a few problems with Dave Ramsey. I don't think it's right. Because a lot of his callers, they'll call in, and I feel like he minimizes them and makes them feel stupid for asking questions.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I just for us here, the Five Guys, finance is already such a hard thing to talk about.
Yeah.
This should be a no judgment zone. And if I make someone feel bad, obviously they're not going to want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
And then that could just put them back into their shell, never going to fix the problem because I made them feel stupid, which I see Dave Ramsey do a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And it's not good to minimize people.
It's never good to belittle people.
No.
It's never okay to belittle people.
But it's him. It's his business. It's his brand. That's what he does.
Yeah.
But the Trinity study was not made up by a bunch of nerds in their mom's basement. They might have been nerds because they were university professors.
Yeah.
But now in their mama's basement. So the Trinity study was actually a research paper done in 1998 by 3 professors at Trinity University, written by Philip Cooley, Carl Hubbard, and Daniel Watts. And the real name of the article was Retirement Savings, Choosing a Withdrawal Strategy That is Sustainable. And then it was later named the Trinity Study from the school, and because that is a really long title that no one wants to say.
Yeah.
So there are not a bunch of nerds in their mama's basement. There is a lot of research, and there was actually a meta-analysis where they looked at other financial analyses to come up with their information. So it's some pretty deep research, and it basically makes the 4% rule is not a hard and fast rule that you should abide by, but is a good starting point. So in the video, Dave said that mutual funds that he uses return between 11 and 12% on average. He also said that inflation is between 3 to 4% on average. So then he says if you minus 4 from 12, you get 8. And then he made the viewer seem like they were stupid, which is not kind.
It's not right.
No.
It's not right. It'd be like, it would be like if you guys wrote into Five Friday and be like, and we get to the end of it and be like, this idiot, this is a dummy, what are you doing? It's like, no, we would never do that.
No.
That's just not cool.
And this is the worst part, is that he did a straw man argument, and the math does make sense. If you minus 4 from 12, it is 8.
It is 8.
He is correct.
That is solid.
But the inputs he put in are fundamentally flawed.
Yes.
So if you're saying that the market returns 12% every year, then yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Yeah.
Over the last 20 years, the market has returned on average, very important right there, on average 12%. But that doesn't mean that it's been 12% every year. In 2021, it wasn't 12%. In 2022, it wasn't 12%. There's years that's going to be down negative 20. Then the next year is going to be up 4. Then the next year after that is going to be up 26.
Yeah.
And that's how those averages work. Mm-hmm. So it's very dangerous to say that it goes up every year at 12%.
Yeah.
And I know that Dave Ramsey is a smart guy, so I don't understand it. That's what really scares me. Okay.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
I think it's very important that whenever we're thinking about someone going and moving towards financial independence, we plan for the worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. So even in FI, the market return over the last 120 years with dividends reinvested is actually 9 to 10%.
Okay.
We use 7%. We take off 2 to 3% automatically.
Just to be safe.
Just to be safe. Plan for the worst. Expect the best. Hope for the best. And then inflation over the last 120 years has been 3%. So we use that 3%, and that gives us the 4% rule. And with 4%, you have a reasonable degree of certainty of never running out of money. But you can also even go down to 3% if you really want to be sure. Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
And then there's another thing that in financial terms is called sequence of return risk. So when you're taking money out at the beginning of once you reach financial independence, that's the most crucial part, and it makes a huge impact on your financial journey. So if you start taking money out when the market is down 5%, 10%, 20%, that's going to eat away at your ability and your statistical likelihood of actually being able to run that money out until the time that you die. That's why by Dave Ramsey saying you get 12% every year,
Like,
it could or it could not be.
yeah. It's just, you can't predict that.
You don't, yo.
You can't predict that.
No, I don't.
Every year, it's not going to go up 12%. On average, it might.
Yeah.
But you can't predict that.
And then in the video, after he made his emotional argument, he also said that he does with his own investments what he recommends, and that's he puts it in high mutual funds that have a pretty high expense ratio. And I believe Dave Ramsey. I definitely believe that's
He's
what
not
he does.
lying, but he's also probably, he has a job.
Yep.
He's not pulling from it.
Nope. And that's the key difference there is that he's telling people, oh, just put it inside there and start pulling it from there. But Dave Ramsey also says he's 63. He's not pulling any of his money. That fundamentally changes the game. Because it doesn't matter what his sequence return risk is because he's not taking any money out. But for people who are reaching financial independence and they have that 30-year time horizon, by trying to work at a 12%, I'm going to take 8% out every year, it's very, very dangerous. I'm just going to go on a rant at this point. Okay, so.
What we're doing, the viewer mailbag
Yeah,
stuff?
so also in the video, his daughter was his co-host, and he just bulldozed her the entire time because she was clearly uncomfortable in that video because she is very smart as well. And she's also, like, I think she's a CFP. Like, she has some of the same designations I do. So she knows this stuff.
Yeah.
And she was trying to, like, pull him back. Like, well, Dad, maybe he meant 5% or 6%. And Dave's like, no, that's stupid. You're stupid. And
Even 5% is too little. 8%. It's like, it's ridiculous.
yeah. And
He was basically saying, like, you should pull out 8% of your
investments
every year because the market goes up 12% and inflation is 4%.
And again, if he was right on all three counts, that would be fine math.
Yeah.
But he's not.
Yeah.
And he is on average. On average is 20%, but it's not 12% every year. That's the scary part.
So if you started taking your 8% or 3% or 4%, whatever, on a down market, when the market's already down 20%,
you're eating away at your principal.
You're eating away. That's scary.
And then another thing, since I'm already on the rant, might as well keep on going.
Might as well. Let's keep it.
He also threw his own employee under the bus.
That's wild.
So the caller that called in said, like, hey, I saw on your guys' site from one of his writers who actually writes to a younger demographic like we do for people who are trying to reach financial independence and have a 30 or more year time horizon where they are not going to be bringing in extra money. Instead of saying like, hey, like my guy might have made a mistake, or you always just like, I understand that he has a brand to protect. I get that.
Yeah.
But he is the leader, and you always like you give your people the benefit of the doubt. And I just watched him throw his employee under the bus.
he annihilated.
He annihilated him. He was like, if we're putting that crap out, then I'm gonna get him. And
it was kind of funny.
Oh man, it's just not good.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not ideal.
Yeah, because his employees said that a safe withdrawal rate is between 3% and 4%,
which is true.
100% correct.
Fact.
Because if you take 7% and you minus 3 or 4, then you get 3 or 4.
7% is not a safe withdrawal rate.
8%, yeah, 8% is not a safe withdrawal rate. It's very, very scary. But he did make a really good point that I do want to talk about.
Okay, yeah, give him some credit.
He did say that there is a lot of financial fear-mongering that make people believe that they are not able to feel good about their spending or that they're not saved up enough. And I think that's 100% true. Too many people in the financial industry, in my career field, choose to try to scare people into saving more money, try to scare people into saying, you can't do this on your own without an advisor. And that's not true. I'm teaching you guys everything that you guys need to know to be good with money. And you don't need me if you don't want me. But if you do want some help, you can always reach out, and I'm here to guide and to give you the right direction. But I do think that he did bring up a good point there, that too many people are just trying to fearmonger and scare people from living their best life. And then, again, please do your own research on anything, including the 4% rule of thumb. It's not a hard and fast rule, but it does give you a direction, but it's not law. So I went ahead and I ran Dave Ramsey's 8% withdraw through my financial planning software, just to check out what would happen if you did withdraw 8% per year.
Okay, let's hear some numbers.
So if you were going to retire right now, Dom, you're very young.
Perp. 25.
And I said, if you withdraw 8% per year, you have a 40% chance of succeeding. You also have a 60% chance of failing.
I'm a gambler. Give me the odds.
So 3 to 5 odds that you will fail.
That's not great. That's not great. When you're gambling with my freedom, basically, to, live my life. I don't like those odds.
Yeah, neither would I. So over 30 years or more, if you took out 8%, you would have a 40% chance of succeeding, 60% chance of failing and having to go back to work.
Ugh, yuck.
But if you were to lower that 8% withdrawal by half to 4%,
Okay.
over 30 years, you would have a 95% chance of never running out of money. If you decrease that just by 1%, so saying I'm going to take 3% out, you have nearly 100% certainty that you will never run out of money.
Nice.
Those are the kind of odds that I'm looking for.
Yeah, I like those odds.
I'd rather have 5% to negligible 1% of failing rather than 60% chance of failing.
Yeah, 60% is a lot.
Yeah.
That's a big number. Wow. So I don't want to run out of money. I like to have infinite money.
Yeah, and that's the point. And remember, people aren't robots. Like, if the market was down dramatically, like, I wouldn't expect someone to be like, well, I said I was going to pull the 10,000 out, so I got to pull the 10,000 out.
Yeah.
Obviously, they would try to go back to work or figure something out. But telling somebody that you can withdraw 8% per year is just so dangerous, and it's going to send people down a wrong path where they're going to start under-saving for their retirement.
Yeah, I don't think people need encouragement to not work.
Yep.
We need to encourage people to save.
Yeah, to save more.
Not to spend more, to save more.
Yeah, and there's, like, in Buddhism, there's something known as the middle path. Of, like, where either you could, in this example, you could save too much and just be a stickler your entire life and never spend money.
Yeah.
Or you can spend no money and have nothing. Two very big dichotomies that you don't want to be on either end of, so you try to find the middle path. And that middle path is a mix of both, where you're spending for today, having fun today, but also planning for tomorrow. You don't need to be on either extreme. It's a false dichotomy.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
It kind of comes to, like, for Buddhism, they talk about eating. So like, you could either never eat and die, or you can overeat and die. You want to find the middle way, where you're eating enough to sustain yourself, but not enough. And that's the balance of all of life, including working out. Everything as the dichotomy of each other, where you need to find the middle. And then if you guys need a customized wealth plan, you can always reach out to me, chris@monsonwealth.com. You can go to monsonwealth.com and let me know if you guys need any help. I'd be happy to send you in the right direction. If I'm not the right advisor for you, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
We're not really here to sell you anything.
No.
But I am here to try to help as many people as I possibly can. That's the reason we do this podcast.
Yeah, we don't have a course. We don't have a Patreon. We don't have anything. We don't even have merch. We're literally not trying to sell you on a single thing, but all we are trying to do is help you.
Maybe one day we'll come up with that stuff.
I think a course would be kind of
I think a course. Now that you just said that, I was like, dude.
We need a course.
We should
have a course. With, like, a back end where it's like you can constantly communicate with us.
I've been thinking about a subscription model.
Yeah, like a Discord where you could just, like, talk to us and talk with other people in the FI community.
Dude, I love it.
That's kind of sick.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it. I don't know how to do it, but we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We're gonna commit to lifelong learning. We're gonna learn how to do it.
Yeah, and you know what could be cool is, like, inside our, like, FI community, we have, like, a separate learning section where it's like everybody's, like, learning something new. It's like, oh, yo, this week this is what I learned.
Yeah, we can talk about, like, credit card stuff like that.
Yeah,
everything gets dropped in there.
But, like, it doesn't even have to, like, just be finance. Like, it could be like, oh, this is what I learned in this area of my life.
I love that, and then everyone can start to learn from each other.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, I don't know how to
community of learners.
I have no idea how to do it, but we're gonna
figure it out. We'll figure it out.
All right, now I say we move on to our last and final segment, Win of the Week.
Win of the Week.
Would you like to go first or me this time? I don't remember.
I'll go first. Okay. So a little bit ago, there was a Black Friday, a very dark Friday.
The blackest of Fridays.
The blackest of Fridays, a dark Friday, Black Friday, and the post-Thanksgiving purchasing. I'm recently moving out, and one of the things you need when moving out is stuff, right?
You do need things.
I do need things, unfortunately. Personally, I can live a Spartan life. Like, I already have a bed, I already have my desk and my computer, so it's like, I just need food, really.
Yeah, I need food in a fridge.
Food and fridge. And fridge for cold plunge. Just. But recently, my parents got some amazing deals. They're trying to help me move out, and not necessarily help me move out, but like they are so excited for me, and they're like, oh, I saw this on sale, we gotta get it. So one of the things that they got, my mom got me an alarm system, 75% off.
Wow, is that like through Simply Safe?
Simply Safe, yeah.
Oh wow, huge.
Yeah.
Simply Safe.
Deals.
Simply Safe, if you're watching, we will make you a sponsor of this podcast.
I would like that. I like Simply Safe.
Yeah,
they're good. They're good. I also got one of those like doorbells.
No,
with the camera.
the ring
So I'm
doorbell
really
type
excited
thing?
about
Cool.
that. Really excited about that. So Porch Pirates, come get it. Find me outside. And then the utensils I wanted to get at Costco were back on sale. So sad when I didn't get them on sale. Dad got them, so that was cool. And he got a TV, which was also on sale.
You got your TV?
I got a TV.
How big?
65-inch.
Dude, that's huge.
It's pretty gnarly.
That's like as big as the one downstairs.
It's gnarly.
That's very large.
It's very large, yeah. So, little 5 movie nights. We'll figure it out. We'll watch Wolf of Wall Street or whatnot, or The Big Short.
There's a new movie out that I really want to watch. It's about the whole not the crypto craze, about the GameStop craze. I think it's called
I heard about that. I've heard about that.
I really want to watch that one. I'll have to check it out when I have time.
I'm down.
Yeah, we can watch it. We'll watch
Heck
it.
yeah.
Watch it a
Five movie nights?
5 movie night.
I love it.
We can bring it back to the pod and be like, we watched this movie.
Yeah, let's go. Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And then my win of the week. Mine's kind of exciting, I think.
Okay.
So I've told you before that in addition to being a financial advisor and a podcast host and running Mons on Wealth, I also coach newer advisors as they're like kind of learning how to be an advisor, how to be a good advisor, how to put your clients' needs first, and also how to show your value as a financial advisor. So I do that. I've done that basically for free, just out of the kindness of my own heart, because while a lot of people in the financial services industry have a bad name, I know there are people out there like myself who really just want to give back to the community. I really want to help. So I really want to help to build that next generation of people, which is kind of funny because I am in that generation of younger people.
Yeah.
But I want to help them because I found so much success in what I do, and I want to be able to teach them some of the things. So I'm officially actually now the Chief Growth Officer for Empirical Partners, which is the RIA where I hang my hat.
Love that.
So now I'm helping advisors grow their own business and being able to put a client-centric, client needs first basis on top of everything. So helping advisors grow their business, helping them bring on new clients, helping them help more people.
Definitely.
So it's just been really, really rewarding to be able to talk to people and be able to add another. So now I'm a CEO, a president, a CGO, co-host, founder, all this cool stuff.
I love that. Dude, you're going to have a wild business card.
Dude, I know, right? Yeah.
I love it. Jiu-jitsu master.
Jiu-jitsu
cold
master.
Plunger. I love it.
Cold plunge enthusiast.
Cold plunge enthusiast.
Yeah, very cold all the time.
Yep.
But yeah, so it's really exciting.
That's great.
If you guys are any advisors out there who are maybe looking to find a place where you can be in charge of your own business and really just want the support of someone around you to tell you like you can do it and have me as a coach, please look into empiricalpartners.com. You can reach out to me directly and I can send you some information on that. Again, these are for people who are licensed fiduciaries, so Series 65, Series 66, Series 7 brokers. We can try, but I haven't been able to clear that with anyone yet.
Perfect. Well, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining the Fi Guys. Remember, education is a lifelong journey, so please subscribe for more information and insightful episodes. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and remember the fee for the show. If you find any value today, please tell one person about it.
Awesome. Later, guys.
Later.
This video podcast is sponsored by Mons on Wealth. The content in this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. We do not endorse specific products or services. Past performance does not guarantee future results. The opinions expressed are those of the hosts and guests, not the podcast sponsor.
It is crucial to consult with a qualified financial advisor or professional who can provide advice tailored to your specific needs before making any financial decisions, investments, or taking any other actions. If you are seeking specified help, you can reach out to Chris at monsonwealth.com.